Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. What you just heard in that intro was the NUX Amp Academy. It's not just a pedal. This is a universe of tones, from vintage amp to modern roaring amps. You've got it all in this tiny enclosure. With models in here like the vintage Fender Twin Reverb or the Mesa Boogie Dual Rec. It's like having these legendary amps all very conveniently in your studio. And what's more, you can also record them very, very easily because of all the flexible connections this pedal offers. So if we have a quick look at the actual pedal, you will see that it is fairly cramped. These have 2 foot switches, good quality, very nice, gain, master, boost, and noise reduction. These two, in conjunction with the foot switches, also serve as the reverb sections. If we go to the second bit, you have a 3-band EQ, so bass, middle, and treble. And then finally, you have the typical presence, a dial that you find on most amps. Then in the middle of all of this, you've got all the magical switches. And what you have is you have section A, then you have a vintage, classic, and modern amp to choose from. Then you have the same thing, section B. So you have a brown, a red, and a iridium model to choose from. Then finally, you have 3 scenes for each. As soon as you get this pedal, this comes with 3 amps here, 3 amps here. So a total of 6 amps with 3 scenes each. However, obviously, to get the most of this pedal, you will have to hook it up to the NUX editor online, so the Amp Academy editor. And there you can actually have a total of a large number of amps. I can't remember how many there are online, but you can get a lot more amps and then assign them to, for example, the vintage. You don't want the twin on there, you want a different amp in the vintage section, so you assign it to that. Possibly the most impressive side of this pedal is the backhand, and so the connectivity and features of it. So at the back, you have your lead input, your output, so it's a balanced out, so you can go direct into your audio interface or whatever you're using. Then you have your send and return. Now you'll find an effects loop. Now you'll think, what the hell's going on there? I've never actually seen an effects loop with only one input. Well, it's very, very smart. What NUX have done is put one input and then a Y cable, which they very kindly provide to you. So if we get that, I will show you. Magic. There you go. So how this works is very simply, there you go, your Y cable. So the effects loop works very simply. You plug the Y cable in, and then you have the send and return. Really, really good idea. It's really smart in order to save some space on the actual pedal. I like how they kind of thought about this. Very, very smart. Then finally, you have the USB connectivity. And yes, it's USB-C. Please, guys, come on. Why are so many companies still not using USB-C? You have your 9-volt power plug. And then finally, 2 dip switches here. So the DI lift, up and down, on and off, and then the IR out. So if you want, when you are sending this to your audio interface, to disable the IRs, you put it down, or vice versa. One thing to mention again, the USB is there because this acts also as an audio interface. So it is really packed with features. So you can record directly through USB, you can listen to everything directly through USB. Very, very easy. Then finally, you have the DI out. There you go. You can also connect to your audio interface with the DI out. So essentially, they have a number of ways you can connect to everything. Line out, USB, DI out. So very, very complete. You're not really going to have an issue connecting to anything, whether it's a physical amp, an audio interface, a mixing board, whatever it is. Final thing I wanted to say is well done, because I find it looks sexy as hell. Obviously, it goes with the standard kind of Friedman Marshall, gold and black. Very cool. You know, that's a winning combination. But what I really like is the incredible kind of textured enclosure. Really, really nice. I'm a sucker for, kind of the look of a pedal, and looks really, really good. Great quality, feels very nicely. And I even like the fact that they put Chop Tones are the company that provide the IRs to them. So very cool. So we've talked about some of the features, the really good connectivity, the physical aspect of it. One final thing to mention is the fact that it is packed with a TSA-C, I think 2K algorithm, which is something they worked on, and it's supposed to be a very authentic, very dynamic response in terms of the modeling of the preamps. So we heard 3 of the models in the beginning tune that I kind of wrote for this review. So now let's listen to them maybe separately outside of the mix, just to give you a better idea of what it sounds like without the bass and the drums, etc. Okay, guys, so I hope you enjoyed those sound samples. Let's get to the final thoughts, the pros and cons. One thing I want to start out with, and that I really enjoyed about this pedal, is the versatility of it. So whether you're on stage, on the studio, a rehearsal, I'm not really speaking about the sound, but I'm speaking more about the connectivity. You can connect it in various different ways. You can hook it up directly. It has every single kind of way that you can connect it to get a good sound out of it. So I really, really enjoyed that side of it. I like that they purposely did something to make your life easy in terms of you don't need to buy extra adapters. You don't need to buy everything. If you've got that kind of out, if you've got a normal jack out, if you've got a USB, you can find a way to connect this. So that is one of the kind of number one things that I enjoyed about this. A second thing that I enjoyed, let's talk sound, is the amp models are actually reasonable. So they're very capable of producing a fairly accurate representation of the amps that they model. So really good. Now, again, Chop Tones as an IR provider, high quality, good IRs. Again, it gives you the option to tweak them as well if you want to change kind of the spectrum. It is fairly flexible in terms of sound. So especially on the cleans, I find the cleans very good. Some are better than others. Fender models, they're very crisp. They have a bit of grit when you raise that tone. So it does work very well. On the dirty channels, again, some of them are better than others. I've got to say the treatment is quite good. I'm not so sure on the JCM 800 model. For example, the diesel is very, very good. The Bogner may be slightly less. So your mileage may vary depending on your ears, on whatever setup you're doing. But overall, they're good sounds. On the con side, there are a few aspects that I found not so good. Let's put it that way. So first of all, I found the inbuilt IRs by Chop Tones not really to be my favorite ones. I'd say they all sounded very, very bassy, and it is the kind of cab section. It's not the preamp section, because no matter what adjustment you made, they still sounded very, very bassy. So, and that was kind of consistent on all those IRs. So maybe the pre-selected IRs for me aren't to my liking personally, and I've got to say the preamp section sounded very, very good when disabling the inbuilt IRs and running it through 2Notes or Celestion Speaker Mix Pro. Obviously, you can load your own IRs on here, so that's just something to consider. Secondly, I do think that this pedal as a standalone, if you're not going to quite regularly and constantly hook it up to the computer and to the software that goes with it, it's like 5% of, what it can do. So as a standalone pedal, it doesn't really do anything. To get its full potential, you really need to hook it up and play around on the computer. So it needs to be constantly hooked up. This means that naturally I would find that it's better suited in a recording studio or for someone who practices at home. Another thing I've got to say, the layout, although I really like it and really tried hard to cramp everything in here, again, I think it is better suited to someone who is sitting down and able to tweak it on the computer. Okay guys, so final verdict. Is this a NUX Amp Academy worth buying? So we haven't spoken about the price yet. It's not particularly expensive. It's kind of that mid-price range. I think it's under $200. You're still getting loads of amps, loads of variety of sounds for a fairly inexpensive price. The build quality is sublime. It's very, very good. The connectivity is amazing. It's very nice in terms of the options it gives you of personalizing the slots and assigning particular amps to particular places with the scenes. So especially if you're mainly a home guitarist or you like to record at home or record in the studio even, I think this does give you a lot of bang for your buck. I think it's a worthwhile product. On the other side, if you mainly play live and want just something very, very simple, without having to hook it up to anything, without having to menu die, without having to tweak, maybe this isn't for you because I wouldn't really play this live. So overall, it's got a plus and minuses. It really does depend on what kind of use you want it for. But it's a good product. The NUX team is really good in kind of bringing things forward, working on new technologies. So this is a good attempt. I don't know really where it sits in terms of market. I'm just trying to struggle a little bit to know whether this is instead of a multi-effects, because it kind of does similar things, but it doesn't have the variety in terms of effects. So I don't know, it's kind of an in-between house. I really like the idea of making it so small, but maybe just the concept needs to be revisited. So overall, guys, thank you so much as usual for watching. Are you convinced? Do you guys have it? What do you think? Let me know in the comments. I really want to have a discussion with you guys about these and all the other products. Do you guys like the NUX products? I think they're a really good team and they're doing really high quality stuff. This one, I'm just not 100% sure on. So I hope you enjoyed this deep dive. If you want any other information, let me know and I'll shoot it out to you guys. As always, check the links below. I'll put all the information on this. I'll put some affiliate links. It would be really great if you were interested in buying this, if you could get it through that, as it supports the channel at no extra cost to you. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you as always very much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell so you get a nice little warning when a new video comes out. Thank you very much. Rock on, guys. Please enjoy yourself and be nice to each other. Peace.